Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gutfeld, along with Emily Campagno, Jessica Tarloff, Jesse Waters, and Martha McCallum, the Five. President Trump revving up America's engine today, touring a Mack truck plant in Lehigh Valley, Macungie, home of the Buckeye Tavern in Pennsylvania, before firing up a jam-packed crowd of workers.
Hello, Pennsylvania. I won this place so much. You finally have a president who is putting workers first, putting Pennsylvania first, and putting America first. 19 million barrels of oil flowed out of the Strait of Hormuz, a very beautiful place. That's the most oil in the history of the Strait. And he said, sir, in the last year and a half, my 401k is up 74%, sir. And she thinks I'm Warren Buffett. She thinks I'm a super genius. Remember that I was the one that did it, okay? Somebody's going to walk into office and they're going to have the most successful country in history, and they're going to be bragging what a great job they did. And the mother's screaming, darling, I love you, darling. And the father's looking, saying she has no chance.
God. And 47 has some serious tangibles to sell, sir. Gas is down as the Strait opens for business. Rent is down thanks to Trump's deportations. And the Senate just passed a bill to curb Wall Street from buying up all the single-family homes. Let's go to you first, Emily. So you have all this good stuff, what they call tangibles, but we haven't even brought up the bad stuff that still exists, the Democrat policies. So it's like, even like this isn't even in a vacuum. You can look at all these good things happening, but you have to remind yourself of the open borders, DEI, the Green New Deal, and trans, all this stuff that could be there if this hadn't been there.
And also the effects of which we're still dealing with, right? So yes, the border's closed, but there's still hundreds of thousands of people here that shouldn't be, that are wreaking havoc in our cities. And sure, now we finally have DAs in red cities that are prosecuting them, but a lot of Americans are still feeling unsafe. A lot of them are still fighting their school boards. A lot of them are fighting their teachers for indoctrinating their kids. And all of this is going on, and this is what Americans are talking about at the kitchen table. So I'm grateful that the president is there in Pennsylvania, because frankly, I think the nation has been a little exhausted about what's happening in the Middle East. Obviously, every day we are praying for the health and safety of our armed services, men and women over there. But the reality is it's here on this ground that Americans feel the fight, and they need to feel the positive effects before the midterms. Democrats, I think, are taking it for granted. All they are doing is choosing in their buffet of socialism which furthest left freak they're going to pick and celebrate that they win tonight, for example, in New York. We'll get to it later, or later in November. But I think that we can push back that tide. I said this analogy the other day at noon, which was that if you've ever been caught in a rising tide, it doesn't come at you like a wave as a line. It comes all of a sudden all around you. And I think that's where a lot of Americans feel that they are right now, which is all of a sudden feeling that they're surrounded in their blue cities in particular by a very socialist-led indoctrination that has been coming for quite some time. The machine has been built and executed for quite some time on our campuses, on our streets, in the police districts, in so many different ways where all of a sudden we felt unaware. This is our last chance to push back and say, yes, we voted Trump in, and this is why, but we have to hold the line if it will make those strides in 2 years, because we all know that it's much faster to dismantle and destroy than it is to build back up again.
Yeah, you know, Martha, what's amazing when a Republican gets into some kind of power, you see cause and effect, and incentives and disincentives take root, and you hope that the Democrats learn. The best example, open borders drove up rent because scarcity of places to rent. Deportation lowers rent so you can find and afford a place. You would think that would go, wow, maybe we should rethink this whole thing.
And I also think what you're seeing is a pivot to America first ahead of the midterms. I think the president looked at where the conversation was going every day and said, okay, hold on, we're going to hit the pause button on this situation. Very successful operation in Venezuela. Iran, obviously a lot trickier, and we can get into some of the issues around the deal. But it's clear that he wants the focus to be back on those wins as he sees them in the United States that you talk about, lowering rent, gas prices coming down as a result of the change of what we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz, because although we don't get a lot of oil from there, it affects global oil prices, and we're seeing a drop. I think, what we can all pick up here is that this is the focus for now, and it's going to be the focus all through the summer as the president goes all across. He's in Pennsylvania today at a Mack truck factory. This is what he wants people talking about. He wants people talking about wins. He's looking at the midterms going, actually, no, I think it would be great if we could hold on to the House and hold on to the Senate. And, I would just caution people about sort of writing off the future of the November election, because I actually think it's a long way away. And I think people's feelings can change dramatically in that time. And I think President Trump, as much as he doesn't like, any polls that don't look good, he absorbs them. And he understands, the economy a little soft at the moment in terms of people's perception of it. Also the war in Iran, not getting great numbers. But I also think that I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back around after the midterms and go finish the job, because that's what a lot of people would like to see. And a lot of his supporters, surprisingly, in some new polling, would like to see that as well. But he's a strategy person, and he's clearly pivoting right now to what he thinks should be the priority.
Jesse, I think they nearly 20 million gallons of oil through the Strait. I thought that the Strait was closed. Who told us that yesterday?
I think Jessica. I'm not going to say her nickname. She said she got attacked over the nickname, so I'll just leave it at there. But yes, this is the pivot to the economy. Pivot. That was Ross from Friends. The two big economic earthquakes are behind us. Economic and epic fury and Liberation Day. So we signed the trade deals, we won the war, and the tax cuts are there. So is it enough to win the midterms? I have no idea, but I know the Democrats are sweating through their sombreros because they nominated a guy in Texas that's on tape that just said, "I hate Christianity." And the other guy's talking about he thinks he has STDs. Not good. They also have no economic message, and they're broke. Now, the president will be getting inflation below wage growth, and that'll bring rates down, and even Jessica will call it the golden age. Can I do my Jim Cramer?
Yes.
Since Donald Trump's election, the S&P's returned 33%, NASDAQ 38%, Dow 33%. Now, most Americans are in the market, so that is a lot of moolah. Plus, foreign investment, 10-year high. Manufacturing activity, 4-year high. U.S. steel, construction jobs, auto, way up, and the jobless rate is down. And that's because the illegals are getting out, and that's driving the rent down. That's, Jessica, we call that supply and demand. The person on my right will probably mention a bunch of polls, but these polls don't reflect reality. Because if you look at consumer spending, consumers are spending phenomenally well. Business investment is phenomenal. Small cap index returning 66%. That's small business. So is it perfect? No. Is it better than Bidenomics? Absolutely yes. Now is the time to be an entrepreneur. If you have AI, you could do your own business. You could do a side hustle, create an app, sell it to some VC company, cha-ching. The American dream is right there for the taking. You just have to go out and grab it.
Wow, that was inspirational, Jess.
That was my Jim Cramer.
Yeah, that was good. But just a reminder, Jim Cramer ends up being wrong on everything.
Oh, man.
Jessica, I have to say, the world is safer with Iran paralyzed. Housing costs are down. The gas prices are humbling. I feel it's time for another Democrat hoax. Do you have anything in the pipeline? Anything?
Algae.
No,
algae.
I was thinking about burning a cross earlier, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to wait until after the show.
That's good.
I wanted Jesse, though, to imitate Jim Cramer when he couldn't speak for 15 seconds when he was trying to process that Trump has been personally trading Intel stock. Can you do that imitation? And then, wait, I'm David Faber. You're going to be okay, man. I swear.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay.
That's embarrassing for you. Okay.
You don't know who David Faber is?
Yeah, he's the guy that sits next to Kramer.
I don't know.
So,
Didn't Kramer yell the N-word at a comedy club?
don't say that if that's not
Wait,
true.
different Kramer.
Oh,
different
Seinfeld.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Emily.
Not
for clearing
Jim.
that up.
Michael Lewis.
Oh, my God.
Quickly.
Wait.
Pedo.
So, The rent number, I think it's great when rents come down. We are also losing $479 billion over the next decade in lost tax revenue because of the mass deportations. So you've got to look how that levels out. This is the reality on the ground in Pennsylvania. Average household lost $3,400 because of inflation in the last year. They paid $9 billion in tariffs. 500,000 people losing their coverage because of the Medicaid cuts and the big, beautiful bill, and 160,000 Pennsylvanians gave up their health care because of the increase in the ACA subsidies. The Republicans wouldn't vote.
How many of those were illegals again? You already complained that they lost tax revenue from illegals.
Yeah.
That is your legitimate complaint, is that the government didn't get more money because we sent illegals back. We'll take it. We'll take that loss.
There are a lot of people who, when you look at who were paying into those revenues, the payroll taxes and the sales taxes,
we're going to make more money.
Like those were actually the good guys, right? The ones who were showing up every day at Home Depot, who were working in our homes.
What if GMP keeps growing? You make more money.
I'm just painting a picture. He's out there at the Mack truck plant going vroom, 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 whatever. Your AI example, by the way, not great for the parallels with the Mack truck plant because they need the old-fashioned jobs versus the new-fashioned jobs. But I'm just saying, for the average person in Pennsylvania, a critical swing state where Josh Shapiro, I think, is the most popular governor in the country, actually.
Why don't you nominate him for president then?
I would love to. Bring it on.
Good luck. You guys don't like Jews in power. I seem to remember that.
What did we learn yesterday, Jesse, about the Jews in Israel being different?
What does that have to do with
Tell me what I
Shapiro?
learned, Jessica.
You learned that when you're talking about the state of Israel, you don't use the term Jews. And when you're talking about, just don't talk about
You
Jews.
didn't pick Josh Shapiro as VP because he was Jewish.
I didn't do anything. I wasn't on any committees, by the way.
You
And I
as in
would've
your
picked-
party.
Sure. You want to go back?
I would love to see, I would love to see you nominate him, but you guys won't.
I'm sorry, you are
That and a few bucks will
losing your
get Dan Goldman a
healthcare
cup of
and
coffee.
your life costs more because of Donald Trump if you are in Pennsylvania and other 49 states around the country.
I think the trade-off with the deportations, which have lowered rent, is far worth the loss of all that tax revenue to a bureaucracy
$479 billion.
that
One-time
abuses
hit.
it. All right,
What you call a one-time hit.
Well,
we got to go. We have so much more to talk
bye.
about.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.